Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something that can feel pretty overwhelming. The Australian study visa requirements for 2025.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a bit of a maze sometimes, doesn't it? So many rules, details.
Exactly. So our mission today in this deep dive is really to simplify things, cut through the noise for you.
That's the plan. We've gone through the official guides, looked at expert articles on the new rules, and even checked out some real student experiences.
We want to pull out the absolute must-know info to give you clarity, especially if you're thinking about studying in Australia, make it feel less daunting.
So we're looking at the official 2025 visa stuff, analysis of the changes, real stories, the works.
Right. So if you're considering heading down under for studies, and frankly just want to get a solid understanding quickly, you're in the right place. Okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is this Australian study visa we're focusing on?
Good question. We're talking about the Subclass 500 visa. Basically, it's the main visa for international students wanting to study full-time at a recognized educational institution in Australia.
Okay, subclass 500. Got it. Is it just about permission to study?
Well, that's the core of it, but it actually comes with some other significant benefits too.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, for instance, you can usually work part-time up to 48 hours a fortnight during study periods, which, can really help.
Okay, that's useful.
And depending on your course, the visa can let you stay for quite a while, potentially up to 5 years, sometimes longer for PhDs, for example.
5, maybe even 10 years. Wow.
And importantly, it can open doors to post-study work opportunities later on.
That sounds like a pretty good deal overall. So if someone's thinking about this for 2025, what are the absolute must-haves? The eligibility criteria.
Right, there are several key things. First up, you absolutely need to be enrolled in a recognized course, meaning you need that official offer letter and, crucially, a confirmation of enrollment, the COE, from an institution that's registered on CRICOS.
CRICOS.
Yeah, it's the Commonwealth Register of Institutions and Courses for Overseas Students. Basically, it means the institution and course meet Australian standards for international students. That COE is your golden ticket, proof you're genuinely enrolled.
Okay, so COE first. What's the next big one?
The next one is really important and often tricky. The genuine temporary entrant requirement, the GTE.
Ah, yes, the GTE. I've heard that can be a major hurdle.
It absolutely can be.
Yeah.
You essentially have to convince the immigration authorities that your main reason for coming to Australia is genuinely to study and that you intend to leave after your studies.
So it's not seen as a backdoor to immigrating permanently.
Exactly. They need to be sure you're a temporary entrant for study purposes. And get this, our sources suggest something like 75% of student visa refusals in 2024 were linked to GTE issues.
Wow, 75%, that's huge. So getting that right is critical. How do you prove it?
It's about building a convincing case. A strong GTE statement outlining your circumstances, your reasons for choosing Australia and the specific course, and importantly, your plans after graduation. Showing strong ties to your home country helps too. Things like family, job offers back home, assets.
Right, concrete reasons, not just saying I'll go home. Okay, GTE's massive. What else is on the checklist?
English language proficiency, you've got to prove you can handle the language.
Which tests do they accept?
The main ones are IELTS. You generally need an overall score of at least 6.0. Then there's TOEFL BT, usually needing somewhere between 60 and 78, and PTE academic, looking for 50 to 58. Always best to check the specific requirement for your situation, though.
Okay, need the English score. Makes sense. And then the money side of things.
Yep, financial capacity. You have to show you can support yourself. For 2025, the baseline figure for annual living expenses is AU 24,505.
Just over 24.5K AU for living.
Per year, yeah. Plus, you need to factor in travel costs. They estimate around AU 2,500 for that. And of course, enough to cover your actual tuition fees, which vary a lot.
And how do you prove that? Bank statements.
Usually, yes. Bank statements going back a certain period, sometimes proof of income, or if you have a sponsor, evidence related to that. They want to see stable funds are genuinely available to you.
Okay, stable funds. Makes sense. What about health and character stuff?
2 more key things. You must have overseas student health cover, OSHC, arranged for the entire duration of your planned stay before you apply for the visa.
Right, mandatory health insurance.
Yeah.
OSHC.
That's it. And then there are character requirements. You might need to provide police clearance certificates from countries you've lived in for a significant time. They need to be satisfied you're of good character.
All right, that covers the who can apply. Now let's walk through the how. What are the actual steps someone takes?
Okay, it generally boils down to about 5 main steps. Step 1. Get that confirmation of enrollment, the COE, from your CRECO's registered school.
Step 1, COE secured. What's next?
Step 2. Gather all your documents. This is a big one. Your passport, the COE itself, all that proof of financial capacity we talked about, your English test results, proof you've got the OSHC, and that really important GTE statement.
Sounds like quite a bit of paperwork to pull together.
It can be, yeah. Accuracy is key here. Step 3 is lodging the application online. You do this through the Department of Home Affairs IME account system.
Online application. Is there a fee?
Yes, there's an application charge. Currently, it's around AUD 710, but, always double-check the official site as fees can change.
Okay, AUD 710 approximately. What about biometrics or medicals?
That's step 4. Depending on your circumstances and country of origin, you might be asked to provide biometrics, fingerprints, and a photo at a designated center. And you might also need a health examination with an approved panel doctor.
Right, so that might be required.
You'll be notified if you need to do those.
And then, step 5. Wait.
Exactly. Step 5 is waiting for the decision. The typical processing time is often quoted as 4 to 6 weeks, but honestly, it can vary quite a bit depending on individual circumstances and application volumes.
4 to 6 weeks. Fingers crossed. Okay, clear steps. Now, looping back to those rejections, besides the big GTE issue, what else commonly causes applications to fail? Knowing this could save someone a lot of grief.
Absolutely. After GTE, insufficient financial proof is a really big one, not clearly showing you have access to those required funds we mentioned.
So really nailing the financial documents is crucial.
Definitely. Another major one is incomplete or incorrect documents generally. Simple mistakes, missing information, it can derail the whole thing. Accuracy and completeness are just non-negotiable.
So triple check everything before hitting submit.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, fast forward, someone gets the good news, visa approved. What should they be thinking about next?
That's the exciting part. Then it's all about the practicalities, isn't it? Booking flights, sorting out accommodation in Australia, maybe starting to connect with uni resources.
You ready for the big move?
Yeah, and it's also worth remembering that after graduating, many students can look into applying for a temporary graduate visa. That's the Subclass 485, which lets them stay and work in Australia for a period. Something to keep in mind for the future.
Right, that post-study work visa is a huge draw. Okay, now, we found some sources that specifically listed like 6 common causes of visa problems. Let's maybe dig into those as a sort of what to watch out for list.
Good idea, like insider tips on pitfalls.
Yeah.
Okay, first, as we've said, insufficient financial evidence. Not just the amount, but the proof itself not being clear or stable enough.
Right. Number 1, finances.
Number 2, incorrect or incomplete documentation. We just touched on this. Missing forms, wrong info, expired documents, that kind of thing.
Okay. Number 3.
Failing to meet the English language requirements. Simply not getting the minimum score needed on the IELTS, TOEFL, or PTE.
Pretty straightforward, that one. What else?
Fourth, and here it is again, doubts about the genuine temporary entrant status. If the case officer isn't convinced your primary motive is study and you intend to leave, that's a major red flag.
The GTE strikes again. Okay. Number 5.
Character and health issues.
Yeah.
Failing the medical exams or not meeting the character requirements based on police checks or past history.
Right. And the last one?
Number 6.
Applying for the wrong visa subclass. Making sure the subclass 500 is actually the right fit for the course type and duration you're planning. Might seem obvious, but mistakes can happen.
Okay, those 6 points really highlight the danger zones. So to flip that around, what are some really practical, actionable tips for managing all these requirements? We saw a list of about 13.
Yeah, 13 good pointers. Okay, first, choose a reputable CRECO's registered Australian school. That's fundamental.
Makes sense. Start with a good foundation.
Second, try to get and submit your COE earlier rather than later. Gives you more time for the visa part.
Good tip. Build in some buffer time.
Third, keep your financial records super organized, clear, and readily accessible. No last-minute scrambling.
Finances again. Okay, fourth.
Fourth, aim high with your English test. Don't just scrape the minimum if you can help it. Exceeding it looks better. Good point. What's tip number 5?
Get your OSHC, that health cover, sorted before you submit the visa application is a prerequisite.
Right, OSHC before applying.
6.
Number 6, put real effort into your GTE statement. Make it convincing, detailed, specific to your situation, and absolutely truthful.
Craft that GT carefully. 7.
Check, double check, triple check all your documents for accuracy and completeness before you upload anything.
Attention to detail. 8.
Be completely honest in your application. Don't try to hide anything or misrepresent facts. It can backfire badly.
Honesty is the best policy. Always. Okay, number 9.
Once you get the visa, understand and strictly follow all the conditions attached to it, work limits, study requirements, etc.
Know the rules, follow the rules. 10. Keep an eye on processing times, but be realistic. Allow plenty of time and track your application, but no delays can happen.
Manage expectations on timing.
11.
Stay informed. Immigration policies can change, so keep up to date with any new rules or requirements from official sources.
Stay current. 12. Don't be afraid to seek help. If you're unsure about anything, consider talking to a registered migration agent or a qualified education consultant.
You get professional advice if needed. And finally, 13.
Think ahead. Consider your career plans after study, even when applying. Showing clear goals can actually strengthen your GTE case.
Plan your future career link. Wow, that's a really solid list of actionable advice. Now, what about other perspectives? Did our sources mention getting insights from, experts or other students?
Yeah, definitely. Consulting with experienced education agents, university international student advisors, or even just talking to current students who've been through it can be incredibly helpful.
Getting that firsthand knowledge.
Exactly. And online forums or groups for international students in Australia can be useful too. We also saw those specific article titles like Changes to Student Visa Requirements 2025, All the New Student Visa Rules in 2025, and one specifically for Indian students. They all stressed staying updated.
So, tapping into that community and expert knowledge is a good move. What about some hard numbers? Any interesting stats that jumped out?
Yeah, a few things. Apparently in 2024, the grant rate for higher education student visas was quite high, around 90%.
90% grant rate, that's encouraging.
It is. The top source countries were India, China, and Nepal. Processing time, generally 4 to 6 weeks, as we said, but with caveats.
Okay.
And that GDE stat, again, 75% of refusals linked to it, really underscores its importance.
That 75% figure just keeps coming back. It's clearly the big one. Okay, let's make this even more real. We looked at a case study, Priya.
Right. Priya from India, aspiring engineer. She initially had some issues with her financial documents. They weren't quite clear enough.
What does she do?
She worked with an education consultant. They helped her gather stronger proof of funds and also refine her GTE's statement, make it more detailed and convincing about her plans.
And the result?
Visa approved. It really shows how tackling those specific weak points, especially finances and GTE, can turn things around.
Great example. And there were also those examples from LetzStudy. They highlighted common challenges too, right?
Yeah, they shared a few. Sandesh Gowda, another engineering student, apparently felt totally swamped by the paperwork, especially finances and getting the right health insurance.
Sounds familiar.
Right. LetzStudy gave him a checklist, helped with his statement of purpose, which ties into the GTE, and he got his visa.
So, structured help with the documents made the difference. What about Nandish N?
Nandish had great grades, but struggled specifically with the GTE requirement. Sounding convincing, I guess.
The GTE again.
Uh-huh. LetzStudy gave feedback on his statement, helped clarify his study plans, apparently even prepped him for potential interviews. He got the visa, too.
Shows how crucial articulating your intentions is. And one more, Yasha's SK.
Yasha's was heading for a business degree and was confused about exactly what financial proof was needed. It can be complex.
Yeah, the specifics can be tricky.
LetzStudy clarified it, helped with the application forms, and made sure he got the right OSHC policy. Visa approved for him as well.
So clarity on finances was key there. These stories really do show the common sticking points: paperwork, GTE, money, and how getting guidance can help overcome them.
Absolutely. They just reinforce everything we've been talking about. Be thorough, be clear about your intentions, prove your finances, and don't hesitate to ask for help.
Okay, so if we were to boil this whole deep dive down, what's the main takeaway for someone applying for the 2025 Australian study visa?
I'd say it's this. Yes, there are several parts to the application, but success really hinges on understanding the rules, preparing meticulous documents, especially your financial proof and that GTE statement, and getting good advice if you hit a snag.
Yeah, for me, the real aha moments were just how critical that GTE piece is and how often issues with finances or simple document errors trip people up.
Hopefully breaking it down like this has made it all seem a bit more manageable for you, our listener. Less like an unclimbable mountain.
Absolutely. And maybe just one final thought to leave you with. Australia is clearly a popular destination, and they're really focusing on this genuine, temporary entrant aspect. So how might that shape who comes to study in Australia in the future? And what could that mean for students and the universities themselves down the track? something to ponder.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.